things, but I think at this moment right now, I'm willing to acknowledge a few other things here. So what I want to do is I'm going to open up the phone lines here in just a few moments. I'm going to let you all start calling in early because there's something I would like to do, and I want you all to participate in this. So make sure that you're sharing the program, definitely. I want to put together something here, or at least I want to assemble something. And as you know, we're over a decade old at this. And believe it or not, you all actually listen to the program much more than I do. You all actually have time to listen to it 2 or 3 times or whatever. I'm too busy making it in a lot of cases to be able to review it as much as you all do. So yes, I do remember my programs, but truth be told, there are a lot of you who remember things a lot better than I do. You've been able to go over stuff, things that I did years ago. And then you'd be like, hey, Jason, remember when you said XYZ? And all I can say is, well, that sounds like something I would say. But yeah, on XYZ program, you said this. And most of the time I might remember, but sometimes I may not. So that's one of those great things to have. It's one of those great things to have. Well, I want to do something a little bit different here. For all my longtime listeners and everything else, I want to do something a little bit different. I'm looking for the worst callers. That's what I'm looking for. I am looking to find the worst callers. I'm talking about the callers who were atrocious. I'm talking about the ones that made me go off on them. I'm talking about the dumbest, the densest, the most hilarious, the most sad, the ones that made you say, is this a troll call? Is this a setup call? Jason, this must be a skit that you wrote. There's no way in the world that this is a real caller. No way. Now I'm talking about just here on the Black Channel now. Only Black Channel programs. Only Black Channel programs. Nothing else. No one else. Nothing else. Only Black Channel programs. So I want you all to go back over that. And like I say, it doesn't have to necessarily be the caller. It's the caller who upset me the most. The caller who was the most laughable. The caller who was the most ridiculous. The caller who was just the most made you say, there's no way this can be real. Somebody in the chat room says Cynthia G. Okay, well, that might be. I don't know. Cynthia G was an all-star one. That definitely was an all-star one. So, yeah, there's that one. Yeah, then the Oswald Bates callers. So like I say, those happen too as well. So look, like I say, that's something I'm interested in having here. I'm interested in finding out from you all what you consider to be the most ridiculous, the most outlandish, the most noteworthy. What were the callers that you consider to be the worst in over a decade of doing this? Some of you are going to have to go review programs to find it out, but who is the worst? Well, Jason, what do you consider to be the worst? Probably what I consider to be the worst is probably one that never even made it to the line. Probably one that never even made it to the line. And I remember a long while ago here, a few years back, I had Frances. She called in. Everybody knows Miss Frances. Love me some Miss Frances. She's like the grandmother of the Black Channel. She called in one time, and boy, I hadn't heard from her in a minute, and it's like hearing your grandmama on the line. It was just wonderful to hear her sitting there and have her support and everything else. Boy, I'm telling you, it was great. It was nostalgic. She checked in. I was feeling like a little kid, and I'm just like, boy, that always puts me in a good mood. Miss Frances called, and that was great. Hadn't heard from her in forever. Miss Frances called in. That's wonderful. That's great. I'm like, boy, let's go ahead and take another caller here. I don't know what area code, but caller from area code 256. You're on live with the Black Channel. Dead ass silence. Caller from area code 256. You're on live with the Black Channel. Caller from area code 256. You dumbass. Answer the phone. Okay, so Needless to say, you all got Jason Black in a good mood for all about 4 seconds. It's a good thing it's recorded because there would never be any proof that I actually can be in a good mood. There would be no proof or evidence whatsoever. I was there for exactly about 6 or 7 seconds, maybe. Then that call came in and, well, it was fun. I guess you all said the same thing. Well, it was fun while it lasted. It was fun while it lasted. Yeah, there goes that. That one died a quick death. Yeah, boy, but back to the Black Ayatollah. We thought we had a brand new Jason out here. Well, that died quick. So, like I say, and there have been others. Had the little old ladies call in. I've had them call up. And you know how that's going to happen right there. It's like, ma'am, no, you're not smart enough to make it through this phone call. You're really not. Maybe somebody I hit the music on. Could it be that? Now I'm talking about just the Black Channel for all the slow bus children who can't make a distinction. Only here on the Black Channel, not on any other YouTube channel I might be hosting. Not only my Black Channel programs. That's it. That's all. So, like I say, if it's somebody I hit the music on, and I've had a number of those. I've had callers that I hit the music on, but I want to put something together here so we can find out what your favorites are. So who are your best of the worst? Somebody said I played Barney and Friends for a woman. Yeah, like I say, it's just sometimes Sesame Street just don't get it. Sometimes I'm trying to let you know just how dumb this person is and how remedial they are. And sometimes Sesame Street gets it a lot of time, but sometimes Sesame Street just don't get it. Sometimes we got to back that thing up to Barney. It's like, yeah, we need something a little more remedial than Sesame Street. It's not elementary enough for you. I need something else. So, that's one thing in particular here. But I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines here. And I want you all to go ahead and give us a call. But what I'm going to do before I do that here, so you all can get geared up about it here, we're going to go ahead and take a very brief non-commercial break. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do it right now. So we can go ahead and open up the phone lines, and you can go ahead and give me a call. And I'd like to find out from you all, who do you consider to be the best of the worst? After over a decade of doing this, literally thousands of phone calls. So I know that's a lot to cover. But this will be your opportunity to see about that. In the meantime here, I want to thank everyone who's contributed to support tonight's program here. So, Jacqueline, I see you there. Thank you very much, man, for your contribution here. Chadwick, and everyone else who has contributed to the program here. Let me go ahead and just hit this non-commercial break. This is the Black Channel.
Hey, I'm Marcus. For a while, I walked around with this empty feeling inside. I had a full-time job, but not in the field I wanted to be in. But then I came across this book where it was like, the title was just for me. Guide to Being Black in IT. I read the book and the author took me through scenarios and gave me tips. I sat down and read it and it only took an hour. After I got done, I took advice in the book, practiced in the labs, and got certified. Then I literally got up and applied for a position with this company I've been looking at for a while and got the job. Thanks to that book, I worked my job with confidence. If you're looking to get into IT or even in the field, now this is a must-read book. Go to www.beingblackinit.com.
am black first. I am empowered. I am on code. I am motivated. I am a proud foundational. My name is Noria Sellers, and nothing will come between us. Buy the sci-fi novel, Nothing Will Come Between Us. Order today at Amazon and Google Play. Visit spiritofo1811publishing.com. Our story, our family.
Join sixzeros.net, a forum built to discuss all things relevant to black people. On our forum, a check doesn't mean you're famous. It means your blackness has been verified by our staff.
Sorry, Chad.
We also have premium merchandise with same-day shipping on most orders. And when you're ready for some dope content, check out the 0 Hour blog.
Don't just sign up, post.
I'm having a really good time with you tonight.
I'm having a good time with you too.
Want to go somewhere private? Just for us?
I like that.
Great. Meet me at sixzeros.net. Black owned, black operated.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
When you need a reliable influx of capital to grow your business, Spectre Capital Finance provides fast, individualized working capital loans with lines of credit to take your business to the next level. SpectreCapitalFinance.com.
This is The Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening as we are discussing the best of the worst. And what I'm doing here tonight is something I've wanted to do here for a while. We've had over a decade of doing this, and I'm just curious. I would love to be able to go back and collect what you all would consider to be the best of the worst calls, and the ones who have been the most outlandish, and the ones that have been the most ridiculous, the ones that got the music played, whatever is your favorite of those. That's the kind of thing I'm taking a look at here tonight. I've been thinking about it for a while, about what would be your best of the worst calls. And I would actually like to be able to find them. I actually have to go ahead and locate those calls. I'd actually like to go ahead and locate those calls. So if you know where it was or whatever, that's something you can let me know about there as well. Also, I have to come up with it because I don't want people emailing me and clogging up my inbox. So that is going to be something I'm going to be looking at here. But that's what I'm doing here tonight. I thought this would be interesting to find out from you all. After over a decade of the Black Channel, what would you consider to be the best of the worst? And let me be very, very clear to all the slow bus children. I am only referring to programs on the Black Channel, not on any of my other YouTube channels. So only on the Black Channel. So some of you said Cynthia G, Crystal, the program I did about Crystal and Kerosene, because she thought she was going to hide that. So like I say, we've had a lot that we've covered here over the years, but I want to give you an opportunity here. You can go ahead and weigh in. And if we can find these calls, who knows? I might do a contest or something. I might do a contest for, the best of the worst, and whichever one wins, I'll give a prize or something. I don't know if it's your selection, but let's go ahead and open up the telephone call for the telephone lines. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933, your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. You are, of course, as always, welcome to join us. Like I say, was it Professor Sheena Howard? Remember that one? Was that your favorite? You know, what was the best of the worst? Who was the most outlandish caller, the most ridiculous, the most just, Jason, this must be you scripting all this. I don't know. But I want you to go ahead and let us know, and if we can find it, if like I said, if you're suggesting, if it's one of your programs you listen to all the time or whatever, and you've got it on speed dial or whatever, let us know. There might be something I want to put together on a roll or something. Let me go ahead and get caller from area code 571. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's going on, Jason? It's official MGTOW from Woodbridge, Virginia.
Official MGTOW, what's on your mind?
What's going on, man? What's on my mind is, it was the election year. It was back in 2020. It was right before the election. My favorite of the best of the worst was the brother that called in, or the coon that called in and said, "Come on, Jason. The biggest problem. Come on, man. It's COVID. Come on, Jason. Come on, man." He kept on saying, "Come on." I just remember that specifically. That was my favorite. That was my favorite.
That was. I believe,
hilarious.
if I remember correctly, that was the guy who, when I told him about Joe Biden and 3 strikes, he said, "Come on, brother. You know most of them people was guilty." You know they was guilty.
Yeah,
so
damn, you're right.
Remember that?
Right.
That was what I remember about that call. So thousands of calls, by the way. What I remember about that one in particular was he was telling me, well, come on, brother. Let's be honest. You know, most of them, they was guilty. I'm like, okay, well, he's like, yeah, well, he's right there with Joe Biden, Mr. Slave Catcher. So, okay, yep. I was just glad he said that. Just go ahead and show us where you at and where you really stand on this. So he's like, if I was with Biden, I'd be locking you niggas up too. It's like, okay, well, there you go.
You were way more than I did.
Well, I hope so. I'm hosting. But like I say, that was a good, I remember that call in particular. That guy kind of stood out because we were all like, okay, who in the world is possibly going to defend Joe Biden? And that is the Joe Biden supporter. That's the civil rights era.
I thought it wasn't real.
Supporter.
I swear to God, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I thought it wasn't real. I thought that had to be. I'm like, no, Jason wouldn't go that low. That was, I remember specifically thinking, I remember exactly where I was. Like, nah, there's no way that brother would do that. That brother would call in and say that, though. And he did.
Well, like I say, I don't script calls. I don't set up calls. I don't stage calls. Everything I get is, just as you all call in. I don't screen calls, so anybody can call in. So shouldn't be a situation. I hope it would be a situation. Obviously, somebody could troll me. Obviously, they could. And I've had a few of those. I think we have a pretty good track record of being able to identify them. In his case, though, he struck me as being dead serious. He's just like, look, Donald Trump is bad, and COVID is even worse. And like I say, if we make them honest about it, especially when we're going into an election, they feel like it's necessary to call folk up and say that. They're just never challenged on these things. So what happens when you challenge the Joe Biden voters, what you find out is, they really care more about being LGBT than being black. Yeah, they're black people, and they'll acknowledge a system of white supremacy. But it's like what they tell you. These are your coon-ass relatives. These are your coon-ass uncle, your coon-ass aunt, your coon-ass cousin. When you sit there and talk to them, you're talking about what's the biggest issue we face. Remember that woman. And is it white supremacy? Yep. Well, it could be. So Professor Sheena Howard. What's the biggest issue we face? And you had to break her down before she acknowledged everything she named. I'm like, okay, well, why is that a problem for us? Oh, well, white supremacy. Poverty. Well, because of white supremacy. The environment, white supremacy. Police misconduct. Well, white supremacy has caused that. Okay, then how is it that white supremacy is not the biggest issue? So these are people here who they form their, if you want to know how it is they can sleep at night, the real truth of the matter is that if you get them honest, they will admit to you that they have as much or more contempt for other black people as the white supremacists do. They identify with it. Now, they don't feel safe to say it open in public, but if somebody opens up the microphone and just lets them speak and they feel like they got the cover of anonymity to say it, yeah, brother, this is the real thing coming out. It's more widespread than we give ourselves credit for. How do you think that Jim Clyburn's been there as long as he has? How do you think Barack Obama had so many people just overlook that? It's not accidental. It's not accidental. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 214. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Solutions from Dallas.
Salutations from Dallas, and what's on your mind?
Thank you, sir, for the program. The most memorable call for me was a personal one. It was a program, and it's sad to say that I can't recall the program, but it was about an incident that happened that involved a shooting or something of the sort. And it's so common, so it's so difficult to recall which one. But there was this individual from Dallas who called up, and he was just questioning the entire great broadcast that was done. Like, and then he implied that Dallas isn't like that. He was from Dallas and all of these things, and it pissed me off so much I had to call up because like less than a week ago, my little brother, he got on me for standing too comfortably on the corner. Because he thought I wasn't paying attention, and he was like, where we live at? And but the reason why that was the worst caller to me is because that individual he made my region, seem weak in such a way, like we are not built like that. He is not from here. Like, I don't know where he was from, but he had a 214 area code. And it's a very respectable city, but he was just a weenie. I wanted to break his cell phone charger. I almost said something rude to him.
I don't remember one in particular from Dallas. I do remember the one guy who called from like a suburb of Houston. I remember him. Dallas in particular, I don't remember that particular call, but if you find it, let me know. I'd like to hear it for myself and see what he's doing. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 317. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, sir. My name is Eber again. How you doing, man?
Dude, you sound like you about to become a contestant for the best of the worst calls. What was your name again?
No, there ain't no contestant. No, I'm with you, man. What I wanted to say was everything should be on point with us, and I would just want you to keep doing your thing, man. That's all I'll say, man. And I want the whole world to listen to you. Every viewer that listens to you, listen to this man. Because you're the truth, man. And that's all I'll say today.
Okay, and what was your name again, brother?
Eber.
Eber, okay. And where are you from again?
Indianapolis.
Okay. And how long you been listening to the program, Eber, from Indianapolis?
I think it's been about, my buddy turned me on to you, man. So it's been about a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay. Oh, it's only been a couple of years then. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a few years. And I've been listening to your motivation. You motivation for me, man. So my sons is turning 17 and 18 now. I try to turn them on to you also, man. You hear me?
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
I got some 17 to 18-year-olds, man.
Okay. Well,
and yes, sir. Yes, sir. I could go long, but that's all I want to say today.
All right.
Hey, just keep on, man. Spitting that game, man.
All right. Well, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Thank you very much, Brother Black. First, as always, his name was Eber. Eber. Well, now we know what the E and J stands for now. I always wondered what the E and J stands for. It stands for Eber. Never would have thought myself. Call from area code 240. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Well?
Yes, you're on live. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Sorry, this is Mark from DC.
All right, Mark from DC. What's on your mind?
Yes, I'm so glad you did this program. The worst caller, okay, I just pulled it up and everything. The worst caller that ever called in was from your program. She didn't. Dee posted it. There was a woman who called from a 301 number, and she called on immediately and was like, "You sound like a white man." It's on her Instagram. It says, "Jason, you are L7 Weenie, a drunk cave Karen calls." She's from this area, because I'm in the DMV area, but she called in and was like, "You sound like a white man." You asked her, you put the Coon song on, and then asked her whether or not she had any kids, and she was like, "Does your mother have any kids?" That was the worst. I've been listening to you since Practical Thinking of 2020.
Yeah,
so far,
you'd be so mad at somebody that you want to say something back to them. You just be so furious that they say something, you want to have a snappy comeback, and you're so angry that you just blurt out something that's supposed to be devastating, and then you think about it, that mess didn't make no damn sense. Do you have any children? Does your mother have any children? Ma'am, did you hear the construction of that sentence you just said? It kind of
exactly.
I mean, wow. I'm like, okay, I gotta stop the program. I can't really diss you about this. I'm like, I'm trying to. Are you rational? Hello? So, yeah, she was just so angry. It's just, I'm going to get him. Does your mother have any children? Obviously, yes. At least one. Yes, by your own admission, my mom has had at least one child. Yes, yes. And he wasn't stillborn, and, yeah, he sounds reasonably intelligent. So, by definition, yeah, she had at least one. What else you got?
Yeah, this one's from October 25th, 2020.
Okay, D. Tubman is very, very good about that. Man. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. And like I say, definitely, if you all, on tonight's program here, we're discussing the best of the worst. I've been doing this for over a decade now. So of all the calls I've taken and all the places I've taken calls and all the folks I've talked to, thousands of phone calls over the course of the last decade. And I want to hear which ones are your favorite. Which ones are the best of the worst? Which ones were the most ridiculous? Which ones were the most ludicrous? Which ones to you, were just the most outlandish? Not the ones you loved the most, but the ones like, wow, that was just really crazy. I want to hear about the best of the worst. And for those of you who actually have it, definitely go ahead and do that. I want to try to put this together in a way. You know what I'm going to do? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I do not want you there if you have not. I don't want you to just be there to just show up for no reason. So don't show up for clout. No clout chasing. Let's not do that. No clout chasing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull a post here on YouTube. What caller over the last decade, of the Black Channel, do you think was the best of the worst? Most outrageous, most ridiculous. They were most memorable because they were so crazy. Which one is that for you? So I'm going to put a post here on YouTube on the community tab. So that'll be a post, and you can go ahead and if you know what program it was and at what mark the call came in, you can go ahead. Because I see some folks putting in the chat room. I'm going to put up a post on the community tab, and you can go put it there. So if you have the program, just give the date. All my programs are dated. Give the date for it, and then give at what mark, it happened. So Bert in the chat room, like I say, would like that. Active portal system lady, 8/16/20 at 1 hour, 2 minutes, 19 seconds. That's the format to do it in. Makes it very easy to find. So, and let us know. Because I know you all have been listening for years and years since I started from the very beginning. And I know this is the kind of thing you're looking for. Let me get call from area code 281. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on live. Put the crack pipe down. What is your name? Where you calling from?
No. This is Raymond from Houston.
Raymond from Houston. And which is the best of the worst for you?
My personal favorite is last October, a call. One was called The Two Black Communities. That's the name of the broadcast. A Nigerian immigrant called up. And he tried to tell you, I guess all of us, about the despicable behavior, deplorable behavior foundational Black Americans were in. And I still remember you told him, okay, what's the great part about his country? He says, well, we got a great language. I remember that was one of the funniest things I ever heard on your live.
Yeah, that one and Mr. Spirit of Dessalines. That one and Mr. Spirit of Dessalines, between those two right there, boy, the one about Spirit of Dessalines is like, okay, he just took it to a whole nother level of denial. I mean, you see in this picture here, and he's like, that's the Spirit of Dessalines. I'm like, well, how in the hell did you defend Haiti? under these circumstances. So between those two, yeah, that's a good one. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 210. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mr. Black, can you hear me? This is Charles out of San Antonio.
Charles out of San Antonio. What's on your mind?
Man, what's on my mind is that damn elder that. So you were doing a broadcast a while back, and he called in talking about how his father used to go into the back door of the restaurants to eat, and you snapped off on it. You called his dad a coon, and this was an elder. He had to be about 60, maybe 70. You called him a coon, and I was sitting like I was shocked. I was so shocked. And then you went on to go ahead and say, and you sound like Coon Jr. You know, and that's the best of the worst for me, because the statement that you put out, you got to watch these old niggas. That's what. Damn, man, I'm getting pulled over by the cops.
Okay, maybe we want to keep you on the line to make sure you're okay.
Holding my phone up instead of using my Bluetooth.
Turn your cell phone on and start recording them, and get off the phone so you can record them. All right, hope that brother don't make the news now. I didn't mean for that to happen. Folks, come on now. Call area code 405. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Chris calling from Oklahoma City. B1 Jason.
All right, Chris from Oklahoma City. What's on your mind?
My favorite one that you did, it was maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, and one of your so-called old niggas called in and told you something about he was tired of your Black Power shit, and he started talking about your icon picture. You remember that one?
Yeah. He thought
maybe about 6 or 7 years ago.
He thought he was slick. They usually do that. At no point do they ever do something that actually defends themselves. It's like, okay, when you start deflecting, that's the problem. Dude, give me something that defends you, okay? If you think a profile picture or something is going to get you off the hook, it really, really isn't. It really, really isn't.
Because y'all went back and forth about 20 minutes, but it was so. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna listen to all your old shows around that time tomorrow, and I'm gonna try to screenshot that, record that video, and I'll tag it on your Twitter.
Well, I'm going to give you all a cheat code for some of this. It might help you all to narrow it down. It might, okay? It might. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but it might. If you're ever going through a YouTube video or something like that, and it's like somebody has a program like mine and they said something and it was memorable, but you don't want to have to listen to the whole program, it is possible to find it. Remember, when you play a program on YouTube, it also has the option for transcripts. So I've got the option for transcripts turned on for mine. And all you got to do is pull up the transcript. And on any browser, you just pull up the find. So on Firefox, it's Alt-F. I think Google Chrome is the same thing. You pull up find and then just type in a couple of the words from whatever it was, and it'll find it in the transcript if it is there. It'll find it in the transcript. Okay. If it's there, and if it didn't, because it's doing voice recognition, so assuming it doesn't misinterpret what was said, there's a cheat code for you also. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. For the rest of y'all who just found this out, by the way, you owe me publishing. All right, caller from area code 916. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Bias from Sacramento.
Okay, you said Bias from Sacramento?
Tobias.
Okay, Tobias from Sacramento. And which is the best of the worst for you?
So I believe this was a year or so ago. I was listening to it in my car. This white dude, he sounded on special. He says some type of some really negative stuff, and you drop the 10-digit number to the line, and people started calling him up. And then like a few days later, he called back, being like, "Stop your people from calling me." And he was talking like real slow, like, and you just start roasting him. And I just found that super hilarious, because it was like you don't have control over like the 50 people who were hitting him up constantly, and like it was just really funny. I'm trying to.
That was Leopold. That was Leopold.
Oh, Leopold.
There. And Yeah, like I say, just he's a fellow with a whole bunch of trouble here. He's a troubled young man. He is constantly having issues here, so he's constantly having to have a wellness check. Just you got to constantly check on his state of being. Make sure he doesn't have any firearms, any sharp objects, nothing metallic near an electrical socket. You know, I wouldn't even let him buy excess gasoline. No telling what trouble he could get into, what magnitudes of mischief he could cause. So, yeah, definitely he needs to be on every watch list known to man. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Tonight we are discussing the best of the worst. We are discussing the best of the worst. So definitely go ahead and do that. To my mods here, yeah, if the fella, he got pulled over by the police and whatnot, he can give me a call back. Right now he needs to take care of the business and whatnot, so he needs to make sure he can't talk to me and be recording them at the same time. So you got to do one or the other. But he can give me a call back once he finishes with them. And folks, like I say, just please don't hold the phone up by your face while you're driving by. It's like, come on now. Let me get here. I got a caller from, I don't know where you're calling from here. Is this a Skype caller? You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Somebody's trying to get nominated for the best of the worst. Dude. Is that what your mom does when she goes try to get picked up on the street corner? Is that what she does? Man, your trolling is weak, man. That was the most pathetic attempt at trolling we've ever heard. Brother, I've got thousands of people listening here. We don't have time for weak trolling. Your trolling got to be on fleek. It's got to be on fleek. What the hell? Just because your mama looked like Miss Lulu and that's what she does when she's trying to get picked up at the board's nest. It's like, dude, come on now. If you're going to troll, it needs to be on fleek, people. Come on. Come on now. Call him area code 909. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Suki Barker out of Rialto, California.
All right, Suki out of Rialto. What's on your mind? What's the best of the worst?
Yeah, the best of the worst, man. Dolores out of Pontiac, Michigan, the older lady who was saying that she was first she said she was calling for the young people and she was 60 or something. And then she said she was out in Pontiac, Michigan. Her daughter was in the suburbs, and her daughter was in the south side of Chicago. And you was like, at the end you said, if anybody thinks I did anything, wrong or anything, or if I came at her sideways or anything, you can go to hell. That was hilarious for me. That's one of my favorites, though.
Well, like I say, if these old timers think that they're gonna call me up and be crazy and as well, I got an AARP exemption. The hell you do. It stops here. Let me tell you right now. Hell no. We kicked the cane out from under your old ass. We yanking the walker out from up over you here. We're hitting you over the head with the bedpan. That's what we're doing over here. It's just that loud metal bang you heard. That's the bedpan busting your grandmama over the head that she talking coonish and crazy. No, absolutely not. So respect your elders. No, we disrespect the elders over here. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller mirror code 443. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Ken Jones calling from Baltimore.
Ken Jones from Baltimore. And what is the best of the worst for you?
About 4 years ago when I started listening to you, I think a white boy called you up and claiming he went to Africa and was killing black African slave owners. It might have been Leopold, but I'm not sure who that was. And that was so ridiculous. I thought that was the best of the worst.
Yeah, I kind of remember that one there, and I was like, dude, it's like, even if you are white, you're going way overboard with it. You really, really are. And then I think he kind of flipped the script and started doing the white supremacist talk there at the end. If I remember that phone call correctly.
He said he was a white guy in Africa killing black slave owners in Africa.
Yeah,
in
like
Africa. I
it's
thought that was
dude,
crazy.
Yeah, when this is your brain on meth is all I can tell you. It's like what do they say on Breaking Bad? Where you don't want the cloudy meth. You want the clear. You want the clear meth with a little blue tint to it. Yeah, he's still sitting there with the cloud. He got the cloudy stuff. That's him. He's there with the cloudy stuff made in the mop bucket. So he can't afford the clear. So this is what happens when you're in the trailer park and all you can get is the cloudy. You can't get the clear. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 908. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Omar from Trenton, New Jersey.
Omar from Trenton. And what is the best of the worst for you?
I'm going to make a confession, Jason. The worst is mine. I'm calling in to apologize, brother.
What? Did you fall asleep on the damn phone?
No.
Oh Lord! It only gets worse from here, y'all. It's gonna be all downhill from here. Go ahead, Omar.
Listen, I'm just apologizing. Okay, I know you were doing it, but I'm gonna come and admit I did some bull crap. I was too extra, and I'm just gonna say I'm sorry for my actions. I took it too far. It wasn't on this program. It was on the business, the one with Jill Scott, where I was kind of going crazy on the phone. Okay. And just want to say I'm sorry.
Okay, well, definitely, like I say, if I do that on the business, you can give us a call then. I want to strictly stick to the Black Channel on that, but definitely if I do it on the business, which I probably will because we've been doing this for a few years now. So if I do it for the business, you need to call in and let everybody know what in the hell you was thinking when you was doing all that. So, but definitely thank you for giving us a call here. I want to strictly stick it to what we do here on the Black Channel though. So like I say, any other channels that I have on YouTube, I'll get to those when the time permits. Let me get caller from area code 267. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, how you doing? Yes, Penny from Newport. I wanted to say that the one with the half Asian guy, I think he was German, some type of white, and you're trying to explain to him that there was racism or and like the racist, we had a racist system. He was, I guess, in denial, and you would give him all this evidence about how a lot of Asian students would go into certain programs like in IT, but it doesn't reflect the work system. That actually triggered me because you were giving him solid evidence of clear racism in the American system, and he just didn't get it.
Okay, now was that on the Black Channel?
Oh,
okay.
I forgot. I think so.
If you're not sure that was on the Black Channel, then that's a different matter. So make sure if you're suggesting one, make sure you're sure about it. If you are, then just go back through your YouTube watch history and you can find that and go to the community tab here on the Black Channel. I've gone ahead and posted it. So I've made a post on the community tab for everybody giving you the instructions. So you can go there and if you have suggestions for it, it tells you exactly what to do. So thank you for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 334. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Raymond Williams, Eufaula, Alabama. I like the call where you made when the Haitian guy called in. Stop talking about all women. Stop talking about the black women. Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Certainly, some of them did themselves justice, others not so much. Call from area code 352. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, this is Nasir calling from Boston.
Nasir from Boston. And what is the best of the worst for you?
What sticks out to me was that old nigga who's always calling in from Hawaii. He's always talking about he actually called himself challenging you one day about the damn the billboards and the disrespect. And you just went in on him. But he's always calling in. He's always talking about I'm moving to Florida. I'm moving to Florida. And talking about we need NFAC and oh man, that dude. He's called in a few times, but it escapes me to which program specifically it was. But oh man, that dude, that one stuck out to me for sure.
Yeah, like I say, definitely. And the reason I allow them to keep calling in is because just understand, we've been here before and we'll be here after them. And it just proves a point about that. But you're absolutely right. That's another thing to watch out with. These old folk is always about what they're going to do. And one day it's going to pop off and it's going to happen. You know, and the real thing here, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. The real thing is, I got to tell you about a lot of these old dudes out there. Man, they talk to us like they talk to them hoes. They talk to us like we just gonna believe every line they throw out there. So these old niggas, and let me be very, very clear. When I say old niggas, I'm referring to 80% male, 20% female. Let me be very clear about that in case you all are wondering. When I say these old niggas, it's really representative about 80% male and about 20% female. If you really go through the demographics of it. But you're absolutely right about that. Thank you very much for giving us a call here. Let me get caller area code 817. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
D1 Media is a lifesaver. Out here in Cuba, Missouri.
All right. And what is the best of the worst for you?
To me, the best of the worst was Dr. Sheena Howard. Because the way you went in on her, it's like every time she tried to say something to you, you already had her dead to right. And I remember you went on a Twitter space and you had she tried to go on Twitter space and try to get some white boys to help her out, and they wouldn't even come to her help. I do remember all that. Now that was, to me, was the best of the worst for her.
Right, well, Twitter space didn't exist just yet, but then she did go to Twitter and try to call on some integrationist backup. That never came. It was sad. It was really, really sad. I didn't even know what was happening. The audience was monitoring what she was doing over there, so I didn't even know that she was over there doing it. But what that was a watershed moment, because what it showed people is we did something that CNN and ABC and the rest of them couldn't have done. And it also underscored the value of a competent operative class. If you'll remember, she cited Will Smith as a quintessential example of black masculinity. If you'll all remember, during that phone call, she specifically stated that when she was talking about being hegemonic masculinity. I'm like, well, who are you talking about? And she said, Will Smith. I told you, I want an example. Finally pinned her down. She said, well, Will Smith. I'm like, are you serious? The rumors about him, he been gay forever. And that's your only example you could pull out of your ear of hegemonic masculinity? And this is before they started using the phrase toxic masculinity. So in her eyes, Will Smith would be basically toxic masculinity, a guy who at best is milquetoast and at worst is sus. So that's what I remember most about that phone call, is her claiming that Will Smith is the epitome of masculinity. And it's like, okay, only somebody living in their left-wing academic sandbox would say something like that. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 661. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Jason. Yeah, it's me, Robert, from Cali. I called yesterday. I'm a semi-truck driver, but when you were talking about like the airlines and stuff, and I know you're doing the best of the worst today, but let me just say today what
Robert.
I want to say.
Okay, Robert, are you a pilot, sir?
Am I an airline pilot?
Yes,
no,
sir.
I'm not an airline pilot.
Okay, well, sir, what you said is that first of all, you violated two rules here, Robert. Now, you understand that, first of all, we do not allow people to call in more than once on the weekend because we have dozens of people, and if the same folk just call over and over, it does that. Number two, you're also aware that we're talking about something different tonight. You're aware of both of those things.
Okay,
and yet
well, let me just say this. I'm sorry about breaking the rules, but as far as the best of the worst.
Okay. Sir, you just probably made it to the list of the best of the worst. Just letting you know. You probably just made it there. People, like I say, is it another holiday? I know Father's Day is coming up here. Is it Father's Day already, or is there just another holiday there? I'm just trying to figure out here. So, did I miss anything? No, Father's Day is June 19th. Okay, what these niggas out celebrating then? Caller from area code 551, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from area code 551, last try, you're on live. Caller from 551 has been abducted. Caller from area code 832, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing? This is the realist.
These Negroes are running around the house. They're doing their laundry. They're leaving their phones on speaker, and then they get halfway across the house, and then you tell them they're on live, and then they start trying to scramble back to the phone. The definition of not ready for life. We'll try this one more time. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is the realist from Houston, Texas.
The latest from Houston, Texas. What's on your mind?
So the one that I think is the most significant is the one where I think it's 2017. You were talking about economic bombs and how Black people aren't really ready, and how the things that contribute to us being ill prepared. And there was this, and you referenced like Black women's whole culture that we've adopted. And then a lady called in, completely missed the point, and she was saying how she was trying to tell you how to talk about Black women. You shouldn't say that they're hoes. And then you questioned her, and then she kind of exposed herself as somebody who fit that description. And she just kind of was like, ashamed, and you was like, going off on her. So that was
why should you be dissing us? Why are you dissing us hoes? I mean, that's basically what she should have called in and said. What is your issue with my program tonight, ma'am? You dissing us hoes? Okay, well, let's have an honest discussion about your hoeness. Okay, well, so there you go. Yeah, it would have been just better and more honest if she had done that. Let's just have an honest discussion of your hoe tendencies, so we can just put this in. We ain't judging. We just trying to understand. That's all. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Now let me get caller area code 323. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, JB? This Steve from Compton calling out of Dallas.
Steve from Compton, and what is the best of the worst for you?
All right, so I've been rocking with you since 2015, so you kind of put us on the spot for a particular person, but I got characteristics. So you got the yeah, but, they call in and ask you a question. You answer the question, and the first thing they say is yeah, but. And then you got the Tourette syndrome, where they call in, yeah, Jason, I love what you're doing, and, keep it up, and you start talking about the topic, and you say something they don't like, they just snap. You know what, Jason? You don't know what you're talking about. It. You need to get off here, and you ain't this, and you ain't that. And then I just thought about one just being on this show. I know this not on topic, but so you got characteristics that call in on the regular, and it be hilarious and entertaining. Yeah. And then, of course, you got the coon.
Well, I mean, as far as characteristics are concerned, that's a very interesting one that you mentioned there. As far as
the coon song go gold on your show by itself.
Well, as far as characteristics are concerned, probably the folks who call up and they're asleep. You hit the line and they're just sitting over there snoring. So I'm like, okay, well, Peyton Gendron, I don't even know if he would hit you or not. It's just like, okay, he's already down and out. He ain't doing anything. You got the folks who are talking to somebody in the background. You open up their phone line. Y'all remember there was one fella in particular, if y'all remember him. I'm not supposed to be doing this. You all supposed to be naming it. But remember the one guy in particular? I opened up his phone line and he was talking to, yes, he used a hoe. You was sleeping with that other fella there. That's a problem. You ain't right. You ain't right. Yeah, that's it right there. You don't want to own that. And I'm just like, oh, man, should I hang up the phone? Should we be allowing this to go over the airwaves? I hope I'm not, about to witness a crime or anything. So things like that occur. So if I went down, and I don't want to open up the thing just for people. I want specifics, everybody. So this will be the only call I'll take about, types, but I want specific instances there. Thank you very much for giving us a call. But certainly I want us to be specific, not types, people. And I've said this, and watch somebody come in, yeah, I got another type. No, I don't want to do types, though. I want to do specific calls, specific dates, specific instances that you remember. That's the kind of thing I want to look for here. But yeah, just remember calls like that. Folks, they'll be drunk. They'll be on the phone. This one time, these two women were arguing with each other. You know, one sound like a size 22. The other one sound like a size 26. It's just, driving a Kia Rio, down the street. So it's just things like that occur. Caller from area code 317, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from area code 317, you're on live.
This is Roscoe from Greenwood, Indiana.
Roscoe from Greenwood, Indiana. What's on your mind?
Yes, just wanted to say that what you're doing is I really appreciate it. I'm a non-SBA, and one of these days we'll probably kind of get together because I wanted to get some perspective of what African Americans are doing here, because as African, we really look up to you guys back in Africa. We look up to the African American because, you guys are, on point. So there's a lot of negativity about, knowing FBA and FBA not liking each other. That's false. That's maybe a minority.
Well, that's great to hear, brother. Tonight we're doing a program about which phone calls over the last decade of my program you consider to be the most hilarious, ridiculous, outrageous. So did you have one of those, sir?
No, I just starting to listen to you about 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to keep doing it. But one of these,
thank you for tuning in, but give us a call back here next week. Folks, pay attention. He's been sitting on hold all this time. He heard that, and he decided it was like the immigration office. Let me just skip the line. No, let's stay in line. Call from area code 914. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from area code 914. You're on live.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You're on live. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, first one, my name is Brian. I'm calling from Torrington, Connecticut, by way of Tarrytown, New York. I just want to say, first of all, my favorite call number one is with you and Crystalline G. When you called Crystalline G in the mental chess game you played with her, and ended to talk about the fact that she cannot speak on the mind of white men, immaculate. That's all I have to say, Mr. Black. Thank you again for taking my call. Be one, sir.
Thank you for giving us a call. Tonight's program was supposed to be about people. No, let me turn it off here. Tonight's program was supposed to be about people naming the best of the worst. A few of these calls tonight just became runners-up and nominees for the best of the worst. Y'all, did he really say Crystalline G? Did he really say Crystalline G? Can you imagine him trying to name movie stars or something? My favorite comedian of all time, he was the one on I Spy. You mean Bill Cosby? No, not Bill Cosby. He was the one he had a TV show, A Different World. Bill Cosby. No, not him. No, not Bill Cosby. It's a different one right there. Yeah, now I remember his name. Bill Pryor. Bill Pryor. Yeah, he used to have a show called The Cosby Show. Bill Pryor. Y'all ever had one of them relatives? Call area code 610. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Tamika from Easton, Pennsylvania.
Tamika from where?
Easton, Pennsylvania.
Tamika from Easton, Pennsylvania. I thought you said Eastern.
Yes.
Easton, Pennsylvania. All right. And what is the best of the worst, Tamika?
It's really not a bad call. It wasn't a bad call. It was an older woman, and she said how handsome you looked by your picture, and then you said something about Roland Martin. I thought she was really cute hitting on you.
Yeah, buddy, I'm telling you.
My favorite.
There's the thing right there. So let me go ahead and look. I know, okay? I don't talk about it often. Yes, I know, okay? I've spent a lot of time on my voice. I try to take care of it. Some stretches of time it's more beat up than others. I've actually had a pretty good stretch right now in the last few months of my voice, my baritone and everything's not beat up like it usually is. So I've actually done pretty good. But yes, I know sometimes the ladies are sitting in the bubble bath. Sometimes sometimes they got the oils and the candles going. So yes, I know.
Yeah, that was a cute call.
I don't
Yeah,
hate.
that was a
I
cute
don't make
call.
an issue of it. Hey, let them do them. Let them do them. It's all good. It's all good. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Ladies, I know what you do. Ain't no hate about it. The other fellas don't understand, but Jason understands. They don't understand what that does for y'all. So I get it. Over the last decade, I know it's just between you and me, but I get it. You're on live with the Black Channel. Look it up. There was one chick, she actually took the look it up one time. My voice is doing that. Look it up. And she like had it on some extended roll or whatever. So I don't know what she was doing with it. I do know that she was doing something with it. It was worth her while to have it extended like that. So yes, I'm aware those kind of things occur. After over a decade at this point, for a lot of other people, it would just be something that would stop their day. It's like, it used to stop me. Now I'm just like, after the first decade, it's kind of hard for me to be shocked anymore. It just comes with the territory. But yeah, I know. And you know what? It's all good. Let me get call from area code 646. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, hello, this is Ken from Kingsbridge, Bronx, New York. Sorry, my girl was just texting me. But my favorites are the cult leaders that say that the solution to black empowerment is if everyone joined up and got down with their commune farm. Like, I always crack up with those guys.
The hydroponic farm, the community farm. If we all put in $5, we would have $500 billion or something along those lines. So between all those dudes, I've literally been hearing this now for 2 or 3 decades. Ever since the internet became a thing, they've been just doing this forever. So it's just one of those situations where, yeah, those guys right there. And all these decades later, they are no closer to achieving their grand utopian communist dream than they were when I started. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 917. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from 917. He must have dropped the crack pipe next to the cell phone. Pick up the phone, leave the pipe where it is. I know it's precious to you, but you're on live with the Black Channel.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. I know you might be on the track working, but you called me, so can you say something? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Absolutely. My name is Jillian from Yonkers.
Hello, Jillian from Yonkers. If you can be bothered, I know the gentleman might be needing your services, but you are on the line. So if you can take a moment off of him, and what's the best of the worst for you?
I'm sorry. So the best of the worst for me was when how you actually went to a caller came from, it was like a white man, and he came and said, like, he was like calling you like the N-word, and you were like, oh, okay. And it was the case with, I don't remember the name. He was a white gentleman, and he won the case of the, shooting the white, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm sorry. He was shooting he shot like 2 white people, and he came in and he was telling you how, oh, aren't you happy that we won? And you were just so, put together. And I really respected that.
Okay.
Did you remember that? I'm sorry.
No, I don't remember what you're referring to. Like, was this about Rittenhouse?
Yes, Rittenhouse. Yes, that's exactly the case. And he had this white gentleman came in. He was being very disrespectful, and you just kept your composure. But that was like one of the worst calls because you were just like, okay, and you know, like, how does that make you feel? And he was just like, aren't you happy that that we won on this case? And he was just like, okay, and you know, what else? And he would just kept going, and I just honestly just respected the fact that you kept your composure. That's all.
Well, because for me, that's a very serious thing. It's a very serious thing, and I want everybody to understand something. For too many people here, the internet's not a real place. I want you to understand something. In many regards, the internet is more real than what you consider your real life to be. The internet, in many ways, is more real than that, because a lot of people out here, if they feel they have some semblance of anonymity, the real damn thing comes out. You think they talk to you crazy at your job, but imagine a situation here where they can express themselves to a mass audience, not just their 2 or 3 coworkers. They can express themselves to thousands of black folk. Just understand, you have an audience here that is predominantly black, and yes, I do have a portion of my audience that is not black, and that's fine too. That's great. I'm a media outlet, but I have a majority black audience. So when these white supremacists call up, this is what they would really say. This is what they really feel. Just remember, I told you, if you want to know what a black person really feels, put them in front of white folk. Well, guess what? If you want to know what white people really feel, give them some anonymity and put them in front of black people. And you'll find out what they really think. When it's something that could cost white society something, you'll find out real quick what they really think. Put them in a room full of black folk, they won't be able to help themselves. Because they want to call you nigga. They want to tell you, yeah, we white supremacy, we running it. It's brutalization, it's barbaric, it's inhuman, and this is how we doing the damn thing. This is how we getting down. And that's what it would really be. So my purpose during that time is that was perfectly fine for me to have a white caller call in and let them speak for an extended period of time. Because while I want you to understand this, it's one thing for somebody to say something wacky. We too often we sit up here and dismiss this stuff and say, oh, that person is trolling. Folks don't understand in a lot of cases, or don't want to accept the difference between trolling and glee. Let me say that one more time. A lot of folks here do not want to accept the reality of that there's a difference between someone who is gleeful versus someone who's just plain trolling. Because you see, when you're used to being in the driver's seat and you're used to having all the power, of course everything is funny to you because you're dealing with powerless people, or who you perceive to be powerless people. So your way of interacting with them is going to be from a facetious standpoint. The other thing is they're not really sure whether they want to just go hard in the paint, because they know it's not a good look to just go straight up hardcore KKK white supremacists, even though that's what they want to do. So they end up instead trying to ease into it, and the only real way that they can think to ease into it as a group, they're not very imaginative. The only way they can think to ease into it as a group is to try to make it humorous. That, oh, what I said is open to interpretation. You took it that way. Well, it could mean that, but it also could mean this over here. So I want you all to understand, a lot of the times when you hear this stuff and it's like, oh, they're trolling, please understand the difference between just plain old trolling versus glee, versus folks who are just like, yeah, this is humorous to them. This is funny to them. It's a game. We find this all the time in the chat room. Asia, you're correct. Microaggression. You have to recognize the difference. That's what you find widespread across the society, is that microaggressive tendency. They're getting a little too smart at the mouth, a little too slick at the mouth about something that is dead ass serious, and they're coming in the room joking. They're coming in the room facetious. Folks, 2 people just died. Another couple of folks got shot. There's nothing funny about that. Mm-hmm. There's nothing to smile about, and yet he's on my phone and he's smiling. So recognize, to young people, don't disregard that as, quote, trolling. Recognize that for what it is, and that's an evil trait. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller area code 678. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes, sir. This is Bernard from Noonan, Georgia.
Bernard from Noonan, and what is the best and the worst?
I'm calling in to give up 2 examples of the worst. The first one, offering up myself on the platter, because I have remembered a couple of times where I just stupidly called in and made the wrong remarks. And I have to use that as an example that it's very important to stay on point and on topic and on code. Don't try to exaggerate, or else you just mess up the whole program with UFOs and ultra and stuff that matters not. So I wanted to just definitely apologize for that. Yet, the worst one I always remember is Cynthia G. She has been stalking you for 2 years, I remember, on the broadcast. For 2 years straight, I remember you saying that she was just challenging you, always doing the whole, how you would say, the backwoods tether, the lace front weaves, all of the nonsense that she was talking about on you. That had to been the best roast session of, well, the Black Channel that I can call.
She just knew she had it, didn't she? She just knew that after all that time of talking to Tommy the Coon and the rest of them, she just knew that if she could ever be given a lane, if she could ever be allowed to call in and be given a wide open lane, and if she could just get off that one quintessential zinger in front of everybody, she just figured I was gonna fold like warm laundry. She just knew if she could do the one thing, Jason Black, when are you gonna show your face? Oh, it was supposed to be calamity. It was supposed to be the Hindenburg crashing. It was supposed to be just absolute anarchy. We were supposed to be running for our lives. It was supposed to be, the humanity. It was supposed to be calamity in the streets. And she didn't realize, baby, we do this all day, every day. I'll show my face when you show your edges. Game, set, match, knockout in the first round in the first 3 seconds. She spent all those years daydreaming and fantasizing, rubbing herself in the shower, listening to me say, look it up. And then she finally got to talk to me, and she just knew she was gonna slay me. She just knew after all this time of waiting, if I could just finally get in, finally I can knock out the champ. If I can just get a few seconds and force everybody to hear this question. And then she asked it, and Jason didn't run from it. Jason ran into it. Next thing you know, she didn't want to talk no more. All of a sudden, she wants to get off the phone. I'm like, wait a minute, stick around. I thought we was having a conversation here. Why are you running now? Where you going? I thought we were here to talk. All of a sudden, I feel like Bushwick Bill. They don't want to mess with Chuck no more. Oh, well. That went bad quick, didn't it? When keeping it raunchy goes wrong.
Oh, yes, sir. You are absolutely right. That's why it's very important that if you're going to come against a master mathematician, a master architect like yourself when it comes down to these subjects, at least come correct. At least come up with something a little bit more better. But like I said, especially with kerosene.
Wait a minute.
Well,
do you all remember Cynthia G after that program? She was so scarred. She was so traumatized. She did like 4 more programs. I want to say one she did was 5 hours long, just talking about that phone call. She did her next 4 programs at least were all about me. And in particular, the next one was 5 hours long. It was only like, a 5 or 6 minute phone call, maybe at the most. I can't remember. It wasn't that long of a phone call. Right. How do you get 5 hours of discussion out of a 5-minute phone call? You literally would have to stop and dissect it word for word and give a commentary word on each individual syllable to get 5 hours of I don't know how you would do it. You literally had to be talking in circles. No, I'm not kidding. You all can, if she still has it, I don't know whether she does not. There was a program, you all remember, for those of you who were there, matter of fact, on my program, I think I probably mentioned it at the time, she did like 5 hours. She went on and on and on. And it wasn't just one. She did like 4 or 5 videos in a row after that had occurred. So I didn't own her soul. I possessed her soul, like The Exorcist, okay? Like Amityville, like House on the Hill. I possessed her soul was what I did. So it was a life-altering event, and I am privileged to have been a part of it. And you are privileged to have witnessed it.
Yeah, yet again, sir, thank you again for reminding us that when you're off code like that, like the great Millie Fuller Jr. said, we set up the code for us, you instantly get swatted down. And that's why I had to offer myself on as the first example. Stay on topic, stay on code. And that's exactly why I had to call again. But thank you again for doing what you do, Jason. You are legendary. Keep up the good work. You're doing strong.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Like I say, folks, I am so over in that regard. Cynthia G, Crystal and Karazine, Sheena Howard. Let's hear it for the nerds who are well-informed and they are ready to communicate effectively. Don't have a bunch of junk knowledge in your head. I'm like, you've been gearing up to talk to me for 2 years. I've been gearing up to talk to you for 2 minutes. I'm like, well, it's not that hard. It doesn't require that much brain power. I don't have to do that much digging. You're already beaten. You just don't know it yet. Kid, you've already been knocked out. You just don't know it yet. She figured it out when she walked in there, though, didn't she? Yeah, just like Roy Jones Jr. against Griffin, boy, the rematch when he had to come get his title back. Whop, one time. Old boy was down on his back. He sat up. He's shaking his head. He tried to stand up again. Oh, he goes flop over to the right. He tries to stand up again. He goes running back there. He flops over to the left. The referee just waving it off. He tried to stand up again. He flopped back against the ropes. Yeah, the night is over. You've been gearing up for me for 2 years. I've been gearing up for you for 2 minutes. It's already over. Caller from area code 562. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Phyllis from LA.
Phyllis from LA, and what is the best of the worst for you?
Well, I tell you, Jason, I am so excited when you did the fish fry with Jim Clyburn. That was the best. It's so funny. The following day on my way to work, guess what comes on the radio? Jim Clyburn. Never heard him on the radio ever in my life, supporting one of the mayor candidates. I took your podcast, your episode, and I emailed it to the lady that's running for mayor, and I emailed it to the radio station, and they played it.
Really?
So thank you so much. When I saw that fish fry and what Jim Clyburn had going on and what you guys are doing there, that was the best. Thank you for allowing me not to vote for her.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Like I say, I mean, it was one of those things where, definitely we have to get active. We have to get involved. And more than that, we have to show people that this isn't happening in a vacuum. It also shows people that, these people that you consider to be infallible, this idea that you have in your head of what they would do if confronted. It's like, it's in no way is that in any way connected to reality. In no way is that. It also shows you about the
fact that he cursed like that.
Well, understand, he's not the only one, though. Well, he's not the only one, though. I mean, because, Jim Crow Joe has done that and stuff. But just understand that also shows you what a lock the white supremacist media has. Their job is to say that if we don't show it, it didn't happen. If we don't talk about it, if we're not discussing it, it didn't happen. And our job is to show people, it did happen. It sure did. And this is why psychologically we've got to overcome that idea that if we're not on CNN or the New York Times, then it didn't occur. That's the thing that we have to keep in mind. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. But yeah, the Jim Bojangles fish fry. Hey, do y'all think he's going to do another one again? Do you all think he's going to do another one? You all tell me. Do you think old Jim Bojangles is going to do another one after what happened this year? I don't know. What do you think is going to happen for the next Jim Bojangles fish fry? Hell, there were more protesters there than there were supporters. There were more people there to protest him than there were supporters for him. Think about that for a moment. But you all tell me, do you think it's going to be another fish fry next year? Did we ruin it? Is this why we can't have nice things? Did we permanently derail the Jim Bojangles fish fry? Caller from area code 314. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mr. Lewis calling out of St. Louis.
Mr. Lewis out of St. Louis. And what is the best of the worst for you?
I got two. The first one, I remember this guy more than this particular episode. You might remember him too, but his name was Buckhorse from DC.
Yeah.
Remember Buckhorse? He called in one night, and I think he he had everything all twisted when you critique the female, and he called himself, I guess, reprimanding you. He said, "I usually rock with you, Professor Truth." He had your name all twisted and everything, and you said idiot. Not Professor Truth. That's one. And the other one, I think a guy called in about it was a guy called it was an episode
Buckhorse. If Buckhorse ever called me sober, it was probably by accident. What was your next one?
The next one was when you were asking, was COVID or white supremacy plaguing black folks worse? And I think this guy called in and he was saying, he just screaming COVID. COVID is big time, and he was saying how Trump was in the way of blocking COVID and why he was supporting Biden. I know you remember him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that was the best he could do. All they could sit there and just, of course, it's COVID. That's the best you could do. So, like I say, they don't think in very long sentences. They don't think in very long trains of thought. If you all thought that lead pipes, lead water, and lead paint didn't have an effect on society, I think some of those folks there are proof of why it was wrong. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller area code 704. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Old Bear from Charlotte. I'm going to be real quick. The Buckhorse, we already got that from D.C. One time somebody called in and he wasn't ready. He said, "My bad, Jason. I was back there helping Big Mama." And you let him go. You like, "Go take care of Big Mama." That was hilarious. Keep doing the good work, brother. Black first.
Okay. If you all made that out, you can let me know. But, yeah, folks, y'all, I know y'all driving your 2012 Nissan Sentra. You know, I got a couple of vehicles, and when I use the phone for the Bluetooth, it sounds infinitely better. And I travel across the country, it sounds infinitely better than what y'all got going on. So please don't call on speakerphone. Let me get caller from area code 843. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. What is your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello. Yes, my name is Chiquita. I'm calling from Beaufort, South Carolina.
Okay, Chiquita from Beaufort. What's on your mind?
I think the best of the worst, when you did a program where Creflo Dollar was asking for money to buy a jet, and there was a lady who was following him, and she lives in an apartment. She drives a Honda, and you asked her, I think she's been following him for like 15 years or something.
Yeah.
And you say, well, haven't you been waiting long enough?
Yeah, I remember that caller, and yes, I mean, she's one of the faithful. She's damn near walking, and Creflo was flying, and yet he ain't flying good enough. So I don't know what to tell you. All I can say is there's a lot of females. There are so many females, I guess, who've been alpha widowed. You know, they've been alpha widowed by men they never met. That's the crazy part. We got if y'all want to know what the church has become, what the church really is, to be totally honest, today the church is a place where you got a bunch of little old ladies who've been alpha widowed by men they never met, or by the pastor. Men they never been with, men they never dated, men they were never personally involved with, but they have just lionized them to the point that she's been alpha widowed by a man she was never in a relationship with. She's going to make sure he's good. She's going to make sure he's dressed good, rolling good, looking good. Anybody talk about him, she's going to be defending him. It's just, what do you do with that, man? It's one thing when a person is forcibly subjugated. What do you do when somebody walks in the house and then puts the shackle around their own ankle? What do you do when somebody walks in the house? Where the hell you put my shackle at? I put it right here by the table. Where the hell you put that damn thing at? Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get a caller from area code 216. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, this is Medina calling from Lawrenceville.
All right, Medina from Lawrenceville. What's on your mind?
Adina. I have two. The first one was from years ago, from like the California days. This guy had called in. He had, I guess he was like a knucklehead and a deadbeat in his younger years. And he had some children, so he had got his weight up, and he was asking about his son, and you asked him where was his son. He was like, well, he lives in New York. He works for a fashion house. And you were like, he's gay. And he was like, huh? He's gay. He's gay. So that was hilarious. But the most recent one was the guy who called, and he was like, it was one of your episodes on comment.
He's gay.
Yes, yes.
What was that, brother? He's gay. You can't tell? Well, I mean, he's been with his mama and everything. He's gay. Well, I don't know about that. I do know he's gay.
Hilarious. Okay, so the last one is the most recent. It was one of the episodes you had, call in a critique or whatever issue they had with you. And he was like, well, I just want to know, I disagree with you about a man staying at home and taking care of the family. This is the guy from, I don't know if it's Arkansas, it was one of those country places. And he had a kind of overweight woman. He was staying at home taking care of the children. And he said, yeah, I ain't say I get food stamps. I even do that.
Okay, wrong channel now. We're only discussing calls for the Black Channel.
I'm sorry.
Only for the Black Channel.
I got on late, so forgive me.
Okay, thank you very much for giving us a call. Only for the Black Channel, folks, not for any other YouTube channels I host. I'm only discussing callers for the Black Channel. For those of you joining us late, tonight we're doing a program that's asking you, not asking me, but asking you. Over a decade of doing this program, what were the callers that you remember for being most outrageous, most ridiculous, most unreal? You're thinking this must be staged. This must be a skit. This can't be real. Nobody can be this dumb. Nobody can be this drunk. Nobody can be this ridiculous. And there it was. What are your favorites? And if you can specifically name what they are, go to the community tab here on my YouTube page. Go to my YouTube channel, click the community tab. I'll put up a post. The Black Channel is over a decade old. I want to know which caller you think was the most crazy, most hilarious, most outrageous. Give the date and the timestamp, and we'll consider making a roll of it. So a number of people have already weighed in over there and already made some posts. That's really good to see. So if you want to go review it, you can go back over it and come back to this post here. So I'll be checking in on it from time to time, and we may make a roll of it there. But I want to find out for you all here tonight, what is the best of the worst? Who are the callers that you remember for being outrageous? Were they people that I had to hit the music on? Were they people I had to hit the gong on? Were they people I had to go off on? If you remember those, go ahead and let us know what your favorites were. Let me get caller from area code 612. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Frankie from Minneapolis.
Frankie from Minneapolis. And what's the best of the worst for you?
Yes, sir. The best of the worst is when it was a lady that called from my state, Minnesota. I believe she was from South St. Paul. And it was an episode. It was a program when you was talking about, I believe, the Asian hate and some about Biden. And anyways, making a long story short, she was coming off cool. She started off smooth, and then eventually she got to saying, like, basically she don't see no color, and just got to babbling about Biden, basically on some Democratic type stuff. And I remember you hit her with the Sesame Street.
Yeah, when you start talking that low rent right there, it's like, okay, I got to give you something that lets the people know what level you're operating on. So, yes, let me hit Big Bird and Ernie and see if we can do that. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 302. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Jonathan. I'm from Dover, Delaware. I remember a call that you had. It was an elderly black woman, and she kept arguing with you over being called colored. It was colored and black, and how you were talking about her birth certificate and how it said, how basically, even though it said colored, it really meant black. And she kept arguing with you over and over again.
Yeah, she wanted to argue about it. My birth certificate says colored. How do white folk treat you?
Yes, that woman.
Yeah, my birth certificate says colored, and I'm like, well, how do white folk treat you?
Yeah,
tell me where you can. Like, I remember that, and that's why I was like, tell me where you can go in America where your colored status is honored.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody who wants to say they got some other than black status, I'm like, okay, that's fine, that's great. See, this is the reason why I let people know. You know, when they talk about biracials and whatnot, well, they ain't really black or whatever. I'm like, okay, tell me where they can go in white society where their whiteness is honored. Well, they consider among white folk, and the white folk accept their whiteness. Kamala Harris looks like a big ass damn fool sitting among Asians talking about I'm Asian like the rest of y'all. They're just all sitting there just like, you see this little old crazy brother. She gonna do some stuff for us. So yeah, go ahead, little crazy wannabe Asian kid. Little crazy black wannabe Asian kid. That's all they look at him as. So she can't go anywhere in India where her Asianness is honored. They just she has a mascot status, but she can't go anywhere in India where her Asianness is esteemed. They'll bring her to a luncheon because she is representative that their power is growing. I mean, when you're only 6% of the population, of course, just people mentioning you is a boost. You're only 6% of the population, but you've made this much of the conversation. So, of course, she's useful. She is a political Asian. Let me be very clear. You all understand something. I've been teaching this over a decade. Yeah. There are people whose ethnicity is racial and genetic. We're talking about hard biology, hard concrete biology. Then there are people whose race and ethnicity are political. Barack Obama is politically black. Now, socially and effectively, he operates as a mulatto, as a mixed person, but he's only black politically. Kamala Harris is Asian politically. She knows full well she cannot enforce that Asianness. She can't insist on it. There's nowhere she can go and whip out her Asian card and get it honored amongst the light-skinned Indians. Hell, not even on the black, dark-skinned ones either. She has no way to get that honored. So politically, she can identify as Asian. But physically in biology, she ain't got no standing or leverage to do it.
Yeah, because I remember you showed, I think it was a poster in India of her, and I think you mentioned how they lightened up the poster of her.
Yeah, folks talked about that. Kind of like, folks talked about that. Like I say, I mean, folks talked about that when they saw that. Absolutely. They did the most over there to let that know. It's like, yeah, because they know everything we're saying over here. You go over there, it's like, yeah, we know. The Black Channel and the new Black Media is the only place that's going to discuss that, honestly, but they know that was the reason why she didn't have a snowball's chance in hell. Obama was the right man in the right place at the right time. That's what he was. He was the right man in the right place at the right time. Man, look here, my granddaddy could beat John McCain for the presidency. That's not really a hard hill. John McCain on the one hand and Sarah Palin on the other. How could you lose this? This is your election to lose. So basically, that's what you're looking at there. So thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Yeah, they're Asian. They politically identify as black. Barack Obama was black for political purposes. Politically, because take a look at his history, and that shows you what he's really about. Let me get caller from area code 901. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's going on, Jason? This is Elliot from Memphis.
All right, Elliot from Memphis. And what is the best of the worst for you?
So, okay, I got one that no one's probably thought of. It's not a phone call, but it's a roasting session you gave. But it was a masterful. I mean, it was a work of art, man, on how you roasted Vice News for all the spying, ducking around corners, checking on your program, trying to check on your raid, going, calling the theater in New York, trying to find out, and they never really contacted you until the day of race war for media credentials, and how you sat there on the front row. You weren't intimidated, but that's how you handle business. You don't take it personal. You just you handle what you handle, but at the same time, you didn't let them slide for doing all that shady shit they were doing.
Oh yeah, and like I say, most other people, there's a place to be made for discipline, and I know it is in. Black folk are so used to being assaulted and so used to having to hold it in that the moment that we have an instant to respond, it's guns blazing at that very moment. And a lot of the time, it can rob you of the ability to speak and think strategically. Now, if I want, y'all have to understand what he's referring to is the SVA Theater in New York and talking about Race War. We debuted our film Race War there. Sold out crowd. Now, the great thing about SVA, like I say, when I opened that up as a venue, that's a place there that, Hollywood and independent filmmakers and boutique filmmakers and major Hollywood folks, they love going to the SVA Theater. They love going there. It's a nice venue. It's modern. It's up to date. And that was when I went there. But the SVA is not cheap. There's a whole big difference. So when I opened that up, it's not cheap. But I was more concerned about how it represents my people. For me, I was always proud to be able to open my films in New York at the SVA Theater because I wanted to show something. When you show by the SVA Theater, you got black folk, they're well dressed, they're articulate, they're well mannered. Black women standing out there looking well dressed and sophisticated and standing in an area there. And the white folk are walking by like, I'll be damned. It's not a bunch of folk wearing oversized pants and whatnot. Then you put them on notice. So folk notice that kind of thing. And of course, it got their attention. It got their attention. So Vice, when they heard about that, it's like they didn't ask about the film. They never asked to speak to me. Now, that was the real thing. Vice never emailed me, never asked to speak to me. Never. But they kept calling the theater. And then finally, the theater calls me and says, yeah, Mr. Black, if you weren't have you spoken to Vice News? No, I haven't. Well, they keep calling the theater. I'm like, okay, what's the issue? Well, they keep asking about the film. And, they're asking about who made it. And they're asking about how much you paid to rent the theater. Because they were like, you have more than one screening. So, yeah, by the way, I don't just rent the SVA Theater. I have more than one screening. So they're like, okay, who is this? And how is he able to pay for it? To which I was like, and what did you tell them? And they were like, well, sir, we're under contract, so we didn't tell them anything. So that's the part I was looking for because I have a contract with them and we didn't tell them anything. And I was like, okay, give me their information. And then finally, they got a hold of me. And that's when I was like, yeah, you can go ahead and show up. Now, they wanted to speak to Jared Taylor was who they wanted to talk to. They wanted to talk to Jared, but they wanted my event to do that. I can say all this now. But by the way, Vice TV, actually, what they really wanted to do was to speak to Jared Taylor. And I don't know if they wanted to ambush him or not. I don't know what that is. Because if I was able to get a hold of Jared Taylor, they could get a hold of Jared Taylor. If I could get a hold of him, they could get a hold of him. I think it may be a situation where maybe Jared didn't want to talk. I've never talked to him about this. So it's not like I went around and around about that. I never talked to him about this. I never disclosed this to him. So I don't know if it was a situation where they wanted to talk to him and he didn't want to talk to them and they figured they would just run up on him or something. I didn't see a camera person there, but there was only one little girl and they claimed she was a producer with him. And so I don't know what their motive was for wanting to be there or wanting to talk to him. I just didn't facilitate it. I didn't facilitate a way to do that. So I'm not really sure what their motives were for wanting to speak to him, but I do know one thing. They asked who made the movie and how did they pay for it. So that's why I wanted to make sure they were put on the spot to say, if you want to know how we paid for it, take a look at all these folk out here. That's how we did that. Now, the reality is I paid for it myself, but it's good enough. I love all of y'all, so it's all good, and it's not a problem. However, that's how power is supposed to be exercised. Yeah, I could have put them on blast way before then. I could have put them on blast. I could have told the movie theater, don't talk to them. Tell them that they shouldn't come around this. I could have done anything and everything. I was just like, oh, no. I don't do base hits. I do grand slams. Tell them to come on down here Saturday. You want to talk to me? Well, guess what? I want to talk to you. Oh, you just made our highlight reel. You just don't know it yet. You got plans for us? Interesting. I got plans for you too.
I wasn't there. I'm in Memphis, but I drove to Atlanta to see the film. But when you did that, when you went through the steps of it, I wished I could have seen them squirming in their seats, man, because that was masterful. It was on time. It was beautiful.
Well, unfortunately, my folks weren't on point that night. I gave them instructions and they kind of fumbled the ball, so I didn't get to get the person on video like I would have liked for him to be. She wasn't tall to begin with, and by the time they realized what we were doing, she was really sinking down in her seat by then. So she was looking about as tall as a 4-year-old. So I really wanted them to, if you have to, stand on top of the seats in front of her, but I want to get video of her. Hi, Vice News. Hello. Welcome to the screening of Race War. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Look, power is new to black people. And I understand that having a situation where power is new, you can sit up here and just make it some rah-rah stuff on a diss track, or you can make it an event. And I think it is I think it best serves us to make sure that you get the big payoff out of it. Don't go for base hits, go for grand slams. If you're going to do something like that, make sure you've gathered all the cameras, get all the spectators, get all the attention. If you're going to hit a grand slam, do it when all the cameras are watching and when everyone's looking. Don't do it in the dark. Don't do it in an alley. Make sure that if you've got an event set up and all the cameras are going to be there, that's the time to do it. When you do that, that's the kind of thing that crystallizes in people's minds and changes the paradigm. So if you want to know what my thought process was I could have shut Vice down before we ever got to the screening night. Instead, I was like, you know what would be better than shutting you down before the screening night? Shutting you down with all the cameras, because they didn't know I was going to pay to have the event, the Q&A session. They didn't know that I paid. I can talk about all this now. I didn't just pay the SVA theater for the screening. I didn't just pay them. You have to pay. There's a number of different things you pay for. You pay for the marquee. You pay for the lobby. So when you walk into the lobby, that's actually optional. You have the option of having the marquee done. So when you saw the Race War graphic, that's a graphic I made myself that has to conform to their marquee. When you go into the lobby, the LED screens they have in there, you have the option of doing that. You're not necessarily required, but you have the option. So those are all different rental fees. So I rent the marquee, the lobby, I basically rent everything, but they also offer the ability to do recording of any live events at the SVA theater. So what I did was I paid them, and it's like 4 or 5 cameras, as you can see, if you got the Race War 3 disc version. So I paid for them to do a recording and to record the Q&A session after the fact. So I knew that there was going to be a recording of the Q&A. I don't know if Vice knew that there was going to be a recording of the Q&A. Do you get you're picking up what I'm putting down? I knew that as soon as those lights came up after the movie was over, that people were not gonna leave the theater. All of you who know me, you know that after my films, we don't leave the theater. Jason always buys extra time so we have a Q&A. But Vice didn't know that. So it was a situation where it's kind of like the reverse of white supremacy. All the black people in the room and all the black people in the theater knew what was gonna happen after the film ended. It was only the one white producer who didn't know. So she was sitting in a room with hundreds and hundreds of black people, and all of them know what's about to happen, and she doesn't. So that's kind of the reverse of what black folk encounter in society so often, isn't it? Usually we're the one person sitting there who doesn't know, and all the white folk around us know what's about to happen. We're just the one who doesn't know. So if you want to know how real power operates, it kind of looks like that. And didn't target her, didn't discriminate, didn't single her out. We just did what we do. Caller from area code 843, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Phil from Buford.
Phil from Buford, and what is the best of the worst for you?
Well, I've been listening all night, and I'm just proud that I did not make the list because I think I've done decent calls. But I kind of wanted to just remind you about the Clyburn primary. It's next Tuesday, and
okay, brother, we are aware of that. Folks, we need to stay on topic here tonight. So I understand some of y'all, it's late. You're hitting the E and J and the Crown Royal. I get it. This is not multi-topic discussion night. And that includes in my chat room. If you want to discuss something other than what I'm talking about tonight, you can go do that on your page. Do not come here with it. Caller from area code 267. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Jason, how you doing? My name is Hal. I'm from southeastern Pennsylvania. Without question, the best of your worst is the brother who told you to collaborate with Coons, and then he went on telling you that his daddy used to walk into the back door at restaurants to get inside. You gave him the business that night.
Yeah, we need to find that one. Somebody else mentioned that earlier. Somebody else mentioned that call earlier, so we probably need to see if we can find. Okay. I know it's good. We probably need to see if you can find that one. Then just go ahead and let us know. I'll put a post on the community tab.
I recorded that.
Okay, well, that's good, but I got to find it. So if you know the program, if you know which program that it was, because all my programs come dated. If you know which program it was or what the title was for it, go to the community tab here on my channel, and you'll see the post that I just put up here an hour ago that's talking about how the Black Channel is over a decade old, and put that information there, and I'll see about going ahead and including that in the roll for us. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Definitely go ahead and do that. Let me get caller from area code 917. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from area code 917. You're on live. Put the crack pipe down. Okay, caller from 917 is trying to find his cigarette lighter so he can get blowed. So let him get, he's got his Biden base pipe going. So caller from area code 678. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason, this is Ori.
Okay, Ori, where are you calling from?
Ori, I'm calling from Lithonia, Georgia.
Okay, Ori from Lithonia, and what is the best of the worst for you?
All right, the best of the worst. No Thanksgiving, 2020. I think it was right after Biden won. Had this woman from Brooklyn call in, and for 23 excruciating minutes, you let her go on and on about how you poisoning the people and trying to destroy the Democratic Party and the whole 9 yards, and you just let her go on and on.
Let them talk, Jason. Let them talk, Jason. Let them talk. Let them talk. He don't never let them talk. Let them talk, Jason. Okay, I'm gonna let her talk. Then they're gonna blame me. Why you let her make a fool of herself? Okay.
Yeah, but that was definitely it right there.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Definitely, like I say, all I do is tee up the ball. It's not up to me not to humiliate you. It's up to you not to humiliate you. All I'm doing is giving you a microphone. Caller from area code 904. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Barbara from Jacksonville, Florida.
Barbara from Jacksonville.
I hope I have
and what is the best of the worst?
Yes, I hope I understand it. The best, I think, is the way that you understand the system that we live under and your ability to speak on the subject. The worst, I think, to me, I hope I'm understanding the
okay,
the
no,
subject
man, we're
here,
talking about
is when you-
callers. No, man, we're talking about callers. But go ahead and finish your thought.
And I think the worst is that there is when you be saying the old niggas. I think that's the worst.
Why is that
and
the
I also
worst?
want to clarify something,
Why is that the worst?
if you don't mind.
Okay, well, but why
Because
is
I don't
why is
think
that the
it-
worst?
I don't think that everybody would fall under that category. Everybody don't really think the same, no matter what age they are.
Ma'am,
See, some people
ma'am,
went through
that's the
different
height. That's the
experiences.
height of silliness because nobody said it's an absolute. However, as a group, that's just like when we talk about America's a white supremacist society. Does that mean that every single white person in America is a white supremacist? Well, no, that would be a mathematical absolute. So for the slow bus children, when you are discussing as a statistical group, you are not required for it to apply to each and every single one down to a numerical absolute. You're referring to it as a group, ma'am. And as a
But
group,
you said beware.
and as a group, the civil rights generation, the old niggas as a group are worthless, shiftless, and are only interested in interracial sexual access and a peaceful death, with only a few notable exceptions.
Well, to me, it's offensive.
Okay,
You know,
take a look
because
at
I
our
am from that
take a look at our
generation. I don't
results.
think I threw away my life.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
what are
According
the
to what
results?
your
Okay, ma'am,
demonstrations,
take a
you know.
look at the results of Generation X and the Millennials. Those are the result of the civil rights generation. So if that's not a true statement, then how did Generation X and the Millennials get where they are?
Well, see, I didn't start having children when I was 30 years old, so
That doesn't answer my question.
My children are not growing up, so I don't understand.
That doesn't
I can't
address the
understand
question,
how you can
ma'am.
make that statement.
Okay, I say again, since clearly it's sailing over your head like a spitball over a classroom of kindergartners. If you take a look at Generation X and the millennials, they are the product of the civil rights generation. If the civil rights generation was not a generation of coons, slackers, and interracial sexual activists and deviants, then how did Generation X and the millennials end up in the hole that they are in?
Well, my interpretation of it is because of the prison system and the way that it was designed to lock them up at a young age and start them over with being locked up.
Okay, what are the let me ask you a question here. What are the priorities of the baby boomers and the civil rights generation? What are their priorities as a group? What do you think those were?
As a group during that time, they were all working in plants and working government jobs.
But what were their personal priorities? What were their personal priorities, ma'am?
In 1985.
Okay, but ma'am, what were their personal priorities? What do you notice most about them?
Well, during my generation, they were working. That's
okay,
what they were doing.
The civil rights generation is not known for working. What they're known for are bastard babies, starting the cocaine epidemic, interracial sexual access, demanding that above all other things. That's what the civil rights generation is known for. They're not known as workers.
It depends on the area that you grew up in.
No, ma'am. No, that's across America. That's across the board. That's across the board, ma'am. That's not in one area. That's everywhere.
It wasn't like that in the South.
Ma'am, I'm from the South. What the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about Alabama.
I'm talking about Louisiana, ma'am.
And now, Louisiana, I don't know, because you have a whole lot of immigrants coming into Louisiana.
Ma'am,
I don't know about Louisiana, but Alabama
ma'am,
wasn't
what
like
the
that.
hell are you
It didn't
talking
get
about?
ugly until later on after 85.
Where are the immigrants coming? Excuse me, you old bastard. Where are the immigrants coming in Louisiana? What the hell are you talking about?
You know, Louisiana, if you remember, Louisiana was a importing state. It imported a lot of people into Louisiana.
Ma'am, we don't have an influx of immigrants in Louisiana, you senile old biddy. We don't have that. We don't have that today.
Well, how did you get the Spanish people in Louisiana?
We don't have, ma'am, we do not have any appreciable Hispanic population in the state of Louisiana. To this day, we don't. To this day, we do not have an appreciable Hispanic population. The Asian population, ma'am, be quiet. The Asian population in South Louisiana is more statistically significant than the Hispanic population. Please talk about things you know. Metamucil and Depends diapers. But you just told me
that they didn't have no importation of people. Now you're saying they imported Hispanics.
No, ma'am, they were not. They were not imported. You have some illegals, but they are not in any appreciable numbers. That's just phony and false, ma'am. You're smoking your Geritol crack. That's what's going on. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And what you're doing right now, this is the problem with you old niggas. You just make up things and wish it were true.
That's what I hate about it.
Yes, I hate it too. You old niggas fantasize that you know things, and when you show you don't know anything, you start making it up.
I worked through it. I know what through it.
The only thing you have worked through is a bag of cocaine.
I lived through it. And I think that the generation that you speak of, you wouldn't be where you are. We didn't have to go through the trouble that we went through.
What was the trouble you went through?
I sat in Alabama and watched the Klan walk down the street and take people off and throw them in the river and cut their private parts.
And what did you do? And what did you do about it?
Understanding of what black people had to go through in order to survive in
and what did you
times.
And what did you do about
it? That, but you call them old niggas.
And what did you do? And what did you do about it?
What they did about it during my generation.
No. What did you do?
I did everything I could do about it.
What did you do? You haven't named a thing yet. You haven't named a damn thing yet. You lying old heifer. You ain't did a damn thing.
So therefore, you do different things than I would do.
Ma'am, you are lying. If you had done something, you would name it. You didn't do a damn thing. You would name it if you could.
I'm supposed to do what you're supposed to do.
You're supposed to get off of your Price is Right watching ass and stop talking about your contemporaries did something there. The civil rights generation has no wins that they passed down.
The civil rights generation was the beginning. regardless of what
the
you
civil
say
rights
or how
generation
you
was the
feel. You had
end.
to
We were in a
resist
better
the civil rights
position. We were in a better position with the World War II generation.
where they are
and
now,
do not
because a
talk
lot of
over
people
me, you
died
senile
in order
old
to get where
heifer.
we are now.
The civil rights generation didn't do one positive thing. You can't name any benefits they passed down to the children after them. Name it. What did we inherit
Then
from
what
them?
they passed down to their children afterward, well, they can go leave drive down the street without getting murdered.
Black folk could always drive down the street without getting murdered, so long as you don't go in a white neighborhood.
Oh, no, they couldn't.
So long as you don't go in a white
Oh, no, they
neighborhood.
couldn't.
And so long as you don't go in a white neighborhood. Black folk have always been able to travel,
My father
just so
was in
long
the
as they were in
military.
one
We
place.
had to sleep under cars. We could not. We had to sleep under cars with to be protected. But when we transferred one country from one city to another because we weren't allowed. We went through Kentucky.
Ma'am,
Jack,
excuse me, we know that you're, ma'am, we know that you are a senile old lying ass because Jack Johnson was able to travel. Shut your ass up. Jack Johnson was able to travel across the United States. Somebody get their old drunk ass grandmama. This must be Lori Lightfoot's mother on the phone right here. That's Lori Lightfoot's old drunk ass mama. Black people have always been able to travel the country freely. To any of you young folk who might be deceived by that senile old days, young and the restless watching, Geritol drinking, Metamucil swill swallowing old heifer on this phone, black people have always been able to travel the country freely. Malcolm X and the Pullman Porters traveled from state to state, from coast to coast. We have always had that. Jack Johnson, they had to start the miscegenation laws and the Mann Act because of Jack Johnson. They knew black men having the ability to travel the country. We've always, the Green Book is your proof. We've always had the ability to travel the country. The problem was that there was always these invisible lines that if you cross that, now you were in trouble and you never had a clear indication of where the tripwires were. But black people have always had mobility. We've always had the ability to go from one place to another. This old lying bastard sitting up here making up some garbage. You can drive down the streets now. We were always able to drive down the streets. No, before the civil rights generation, you wasn't able to do that there. This is what happens when you let these old niggas speak. They don't have any legitimate wins, so they just make up a bunch of mess. We did tonight's program for nominees for the best of the worst, but now we've had a couple of folk tonight who their calls qualify as nominees. I'll be damned. Caller from area code 843, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Jason. It's More Black from Charleston, South Carolina.
More Black from Charleston, and what is the best of the worst?
Well, I was laughing because mine is Miss Shirley. She called in multiple times, but the most recent was, I think, about a month or two ago, and I think she must have thought you forgot about her, and people were calling it out, and you actually did remember her. So that's it. Mine is just Miss Shirley.
Okay, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 832. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's going on, Jason Black? This is Jerry from Houston, Texas.
Jerry from Houston, and what is the best of the worst?
Man, the best man ever. You had a show where you were talking about Kwame Brown, and two of his callers called up, and you told them to explain. He was like, "So what do you agree with?" And they were like, "All of it." Well, can you name anything? Everything. And it was like just the best back and forth, man. It was two callers, bro.
Yeah, what do you agree with? All of it. Can you be specific? What do you agree with exactly? Everything. Well, okay, can you name one thing? I can't take your one thing. It's all of it together. Okay. Could you imagine a lawyer defending you in court and that's his defense? Can you imagine that kind of being that articulate? You might as well start sizing your prison uniform up for this life sentence because that's where you're going to be.
You're right, man. Hey, there was another moment that you had, but that was on a Twitter space when an old brother had called you and he said, what we need to do, Jason, is we need to take over 6 states in the South. And when we take over those 6 states, all black, we'll control everything. And you were like, yeah, that's until the United States bomb us. and take all the resources.
Yeah, right until
I don't know if you remember those.
right until the Marines show up. Thank you very much for giving us a call. We're talking just about on the Black Channel though, so not Twitter, not any other YouTube channels, but talking about just on the Black Channel. Let me get caller from area code 561. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Brother Jason Black. Yes, this is Jay calling from Palm Beach County, Florida.
All right, Jay from Palm Beach
I don't
County.
even remember.
And, what's the best of the worst?
The best of the worst. I really want somebody to put it in the chat because I don't even remember the date of it. But this one lady called. I think she was on like that divestment tip or something, and then she started saying like the ham bone, chicken and gravy. That had me rolling. Like that was probably the best of the worst calls. I think she was on and you start playing like the banjo. Start playing that banjo for more people. I think more people need to hear the banjo.
Yeah, I started hitting the banjo, and she was by this point she was already wigged out, so she just starts going crazy. So, like I said, the internet doesn't have a psychological filter, so folks off their meds, people on drugs, drunk, crazy, they can call in with everybody else. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 917. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller from area code 917. You're on live. Okay, caller from area code 917. I'm not really sure what's going on there. I have a feeling, though, that area code 917 is having some sort of difficulties, so not really sure what's going on there. I think area code 917 though might be in need of a wellness check. So they've called a couple of times now. So caller from area code 917 probably needs a wellness check. Now I don't have their number or anything, but if anybody knows a caller from 917 who's called repeatedly, they're in assistance, and I think they need a wellness check. I hope somebody can help them. Call from area code 786. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing, Jason? It's Joe from Miami, Florida.
All right, Joe from Miami. And what's the best of the worst?
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago about the old Democratic chick about she didn't like the word white supremacy. I couldn't find the word that she kept using, but you kept shooting off. She was like, no, I don't like the word white supremacy and all of this, but yeah.
The folks who love semantics, and I don't like white supremacy. Okay, name whatever term you want. What term do you prefer? White fragility. Okay, fine. And what part? Now you said that. What part are they not dominating? You can call it whatever you want to, but you also have to call it dominant. They ain't dominating me. Tell me one thing, one right you have that they couldn't violate tonight. Well, that don't really matter. Okay, so there they go. Yeah. Get that smoke alarm battery changed out too, brother. Let me get call from area code 832. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, Jason. This is Lynn from Texas.
Okay, Lynn from where at in Texas?
Houston, Texas.
All right, Lynn from Houston. And what's the rest of the worst?
I thought these were the young ladies that's supposed to teach us proper etiquette.
Which ladies?
I mean, the young ladies that's calling up.
The young ladies.
They taught us Christianity and all this type of stuff. I call them young ladies.
Oh, you mean the old niggas? Okay.
Oh well.
She means the old. She means the old granny niggas. That's what she means. But go ahead.
I don't understand. I mean, these ladies were the ones that taught us all these things, and come to find out, it's like they don't want to accept the fact that they taught us the wrong way.
Yeah, because at this point, let me explain to you exactly what that is.
Yes, sir.
At this point right now, the civil rights generation, now that they're all a bunch of little old rickety senior citizens, they're their most vulnerable. The children are all grown now. They're all, hell, the children got kids of their own. So the civil rights generation used to be able to just deny you and you had to ignore reality. Now that they are old and rickety, they're vulnerable. So you have to understand, they have to justify their existence because they realize right now they're vulnerable. You come across the wrong young person that's holding you accountable, you don't have any real way to deflect anymore. So they got to fabricate a track record of, if you're sitting up here telling them that you got to have some wins, they've got to fabricate a track record of winning that they don't actually have to give you. That's the problem, is people are asking them, where are your wins? What did you do? And they're like, oh, hell, I know I don't have an answer, and I'm old and rickety and vulnerable now. That's the problem. They're old and vulnerable, so they have to fabricate a track record of accomplishments they don't actually have. They have to sit here on my phone and just make it up. They have to lie because they're like, hell, if I sit here and say nothing, what's about to happen next? Because let's be very, very clear. These old folk getting jacked up all over the place. This is the result of teaching the children it's all about self. It's all about selfishness. It's all about me. Forget everybody else. Well, guess what? The kids learned the lesson. It's all about self. It's all about selfishness. It's all about me. I don't have to pass anything down, and I can take from anybody else what I want. Those are the real accomplishments of the civil rights generation. And every time you ask them about that, they start saying, well, it ain't really like that. And then you ask them, what did you do? Well, you can ride down the street. You didn't give us that. Even if we could, you're not responsible for that. Well, sure I was. Get the hell off my phone. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 703. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason, how's it going? This is Tiffany from Georgia.
Tiffany from Georgia. Where at in Georgia?
Waycross.
Okay, say it again.
Waycross.
All right, Tiffany from Waycross, Georgia. And what is the best of the worst for you?
Well, I just called in to let you know that today's my birthday. And I'm the hairbone lady that called in and did the hairbone that the guy was speaking of early. My phone keeps beeping. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so, hello?
Yes.
You still here. Okay, yeah, I'm the hambone lady, but yeah, I just wanted you all to wish me a happy birthday.
All right, would you like to send us your address and we can all get together and text to send you a package of your favorite brown or dark liquor, and we can see about doing that for you. We can certainly pass the ad and see if we can get that together for you. Or if you would like a fresh batch of collard greens and hog maws, that might be possible as well. We have an Amazon Prime subscription, so we can get you some hog maws and chitlins, and some black eyed peas. I think we can get that together. Yeah, collard greens
with pig feet.
Yeah, just neck bones, hip bones,
ham hocks.
Yeah, just ham hocks, pawn shop hock, whichever you need. We can. I'm pretty sure we can probably work that out. How old are you now?
How old do I look? I look about 27.
Okay, I didn't ask how old you look. How old does your birth certificate say you are?
47.
Okay, do you have a husband?
Yes, I do.
Okay, survey says you are lying.
No, survey says I'm telling the truth.
Okay, let me talk to him.
He's upstairs asleep.
Go ahead and wake him up. It's worth it.
What you want to say to him?
I would like to ask him. I would like, ma'am. You don't have to screen anything. Let me go ahead and talk to your husband. He's the man of the house.
What would you like to say?
I would like to. I would like to ask him how to. I would like to ask him how to have a happy marriage to Tiffany for all this time.
Well, he's not gonna. Okay, hold on. I don't want you to speak to him. He's a very professional man, and
I'm a very professional man. I'm a very professional man too.
Do not say any. If you say anything crazy to him, I'm gonna take the phone away.
Okay, well, I would never speak crazy to anybody, ma'am.
Hold on. Oh, no, somebody wanted to speak with you, and I'll let them know that you're asleep.
How can you talk to him if he's asleep?
No, he was lying down
Okay,
It's like a radio person, but that's okay.
He can't. Wait a minute. A man can't talk if he is asleep. Who is he? The Panther God Bast? There's no way in the world he can talk if he's asleep. Hand him that phone. Stop disrespecting that man.
I'm not gonna get him out of bed for this.
You don't have to get him out of bed, ma'am. He can lay in bed. Hand him the phone. It's a cell phone, not a refrigerator.
No, I'm not. I just went downstairs. I'm not gonna hand him the phone.
How did you make it downstairs that fast? You got 2 steps to get downstairs.
It's actually about 14, but
what is this, Mrs. Peregrine's house here? Who built your house? Dumbledore? You got 2 steps to get from upstairs to downstairs. You literally just walked out of the room. What are you talking about? You didn't go down 14 steps that fast. I would have heard you jump.
I just ran down the stairs.
Okay. How many children do you have, Tiffany?
We just have 1.
Okay. You know you are not married to that man, and you know it.
Did you just hear that guy upstairs?
Ma'am, I heard a male upstairs, unemployed, chronically sick. I do not believe you're married to him.
Are you crazy?
Ma'am, I do not believe you're married to him. No.
My husband... Oh, why not? Because I'm black?
No, because you're silly.
I'm a
I don't
black
believe
female.
for a second that a man's going to marry you. That's
so
not
what?
going to happen.
That's what makes the marriage great. Me being silly.
No, ma'am. No, you being delusional. Stop lying on that man. He does not know that you run around telling people that you're married. You've probably been doing that now for 20 years. You know we married. We got 2 or 3 kids together. No, ma'am, stop doing that. Stop that.
Actually, in August, it'll be 23 years.
Whose name is on the mortgage of that house?
Both of ours. Go ahead. You got my phone number. Look it up if it pops up. But don't tell people my name. But look it up. You'll see.
Ma'am, I don't believe that. Not at all.
All right. Well, sorry you don't believe it, but
Stop.
thanks for the birthday wishes.
Ma'am, okay, we wish you some Ritalin and some Prozac for your birthday is what we do. So I wish you some lithium. I wish you some lithium and some Valium for your birthday. That's what I wish you for. I wish for that for you for your birthday. So I wish you a proper therapist and electroshock therapy. That's what I would like to see if you have them for your birthday here, along with your greens and cornbread, and a prescription. Somebody said, is that her grown son in the house? Could be. It could be. That could be her grown son up in there. Nigga, get up and get a job. Jason's on the phones. You know I'm going to ask about it. Man, who are you? I'm her son. When's the last time you went to work? Work? Yes, work is when you leave the house and get paid for it. Well, I was thinking about staying here in the house and getting paid like my mama do. Okay, well, how does she do that? Well, sometimes men show up, give me that phone back, Junior. He don't know what he be talking about. He be having issues up in here. Anyway, you all in my business. We got to go. Hang up the phone? Really? Tiffany, tell your son the OnlyFans ain't gonna work for him like it might for you. There'll be some senior citizens at the Rotary Club, some of them old dudes. Yeah, the OnlyFans route might work for them. Yeah, I have reservations, and I'm very skeptical that it can work for you. I know you even sitting there when it's a Sunday. How the hell is he in bed this early on a Sunday? Let me get through here. Who is he? It's some radio person. He knows who the hell it is. He knows. Come on now. You know he ain't had a job in forever. What the hell are you trying to do? Look on the community tab of the channel page here. Look on the community tab. You will see the post that I put up here, and I'm asking people here about the best of the worst. So we've been doing this for a decade, so I want to get your ideas. I want to get your input on it. Let's get your feedback. What do you think? You've heard some of those calls here tonight. If you heard calls that were even worse than these, if you heard calls that were even more ridiculous than these over the last decade, go and find it. You're going to have plenty of time. Go and find it and get the date and the timestamp of it. And then go to the community tab here on YouTube, and you'll see the post that I'm putting up here today about the Black Channel is over a decade old. And you can go ahead. We already got like 14 replies on it so far. So far, so good. Glad to have that. By the way, in the chat room, you're right. The husband's going to bed. It's her damn birthday, and the husband's already in bed. That doesn't sound right, does it? It's her birthday, and he's already in bed, so either that ain't your husband, or if it is, he don't fool with you for real. He's like, it's your birthday. Look here, wanks, blow out your own damn candles. Blow out your own damn candles, ever. But like I say, if you all find something that you think is even better than that and whatnot, better than some of this nonsense you heard here tonight, go ahead and find out. Go ahead and go look into it, go research it and everything. Go ahead and check it out. Remember, only here on the Black Channel. We're not dealing with any of my other YouTube channels, not Twitter Space, not anything else. Only the programs here from the Black Channel. So I thought this would be good for us to go ahead and do tonight. You know, it's been a long time coming. I don't really do retrospectives like that, but I thought as far as the retrospective was concerned, I know I had a lot of calls that were just completely, they were memorable, but some of them were memorable for completely the wrong reasons. But I just thought we'd have a time of it here to go ahead and check those out and see, hey, what's the best of the worst? So glad you all got your input here tonight. Glad to have your feedback of it. And we're going to continue doing that kind of thing. So the tab is going to be left there. So for those of you who listen to this recorded later, go ahead and chime in. Make sure you're specific and precise about it. Let's make sure we stay on point and on code here. And I want to thank you all for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. Thank you to everyone who has contributed to tonight's program here, either on PayPal or Cash App. Thank you very much for your support. We appreciate that. And if you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Over 141,000 subscribers and rising. We are not a little thing. So click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every weekend. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go there and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD, on streaming, and on Amazon. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. And one time for Tiffany, since her man doesn't keep her happy. Tiffany, if you don't know how to spell lithium, or if you don't know what lithium is, look it up. Something else your man doesn't have, a baritone. In any case here, I want to thank all of you for over a decade of doing this. I want to thank all of you for tuning in here tonight, and thank you to everybody for calling in and giving your suggestions. It's been a blast, and this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority, and until next time, all of my brothers and all of my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is